Should you carry the lightest gun possible? It's a question people have been asking for ages when it comes to concealed carry and everyday carry. I'll talk about that in just a minute, but first, I'll let you know that we have a gun giveaway going on. It is happening right now. It's absolutely free to enter, but it ends really soon. So just click the link in the description to find out which brand new gun you could win. Maybe it's really lightweight, who knows? So, over the decades, firearms have been made lighter and lighter and lighter. And that's because carrying a gun, a big steel-framed gun, is kind of uncomfortable. We kind of didn't like it. When you think about this, the original 1911, made in 1911, actually first released in 1912 because of all the timing that it takes to do that. Steel-framed gun with a steel barrel and a steel slide, and it is a big, heavy piece of metal that's hanging on your hip. And people are carrying guns for self-defense for convenience, so we had this evolution of lighter and lighter guns. Things, we started with all steel and some walnut side plates and things like that. I mean, think about it. If you go way back to the earliest guns, we started with just a big iron tube, a lockwork, flintlock on the side and a wood stock. And they have progressed over the years. We went from all steel frames to people loving aluminum. They just wanted to have a nice aluminum lightweight gun, and there were some drawbacks with that. Most notably, some of the early, I think there were air crew models or something like that. Most of them have been cut up, but they were aluminum guns made for downed pilots to use in emergencies. Some of them even had aluminum cylinders, and you can imagine how well that held up. A lot of times as you got lighter in weight, you got less performance. It was less strength as you got lighter in weight. And aluminum frames don't have the same wear characteristics as steel does, but it was lighter and easier to carry, so people began working on making that better and better. We've gotten to the point now where there's some aluminum and other alloy frames that are chemically and explosively bonded together with steel rails to make sure that the wear surfaces are strong as steel and the non-load bearing surfaces, the frame of the gun, is lightweight, so it's more convenient and easier for you to carry. Then we moved on into some of these revolvers out there now, these cadmium and titanium and things like that, the craze of these new alloy metals. And guns have gotten incredibly lightweight. We can make some really lightweight guns, especially and including polymer frame pistols, but in this case, we'll talk about some of these revolvers that got to be super lightweight, and they're still throwing .357 Magnum rounds into the cylinder. And I'll tell you, some of the least pleasant shooting experiences I've had have been with those cadmium or titanium, those new super alloy frames in an ultra lightweight, short-barreled, round-butt revolver with full boat .357 Magnum rounds going off. Those things tend to jump in your hand quite a bit. And that's because of this old saying, from the physics world, you can't get something for nothing. You got to give up something to get something else. And the rule of physics is that for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. So the lighter your gun, the more you are going to feel the recoil, because the round is going off and is producing enough power to launch your bullet forward at incredible velocity, 1,100 feet per second, something like that. That's also pushing backward into your hand. And certainly it's not pushing backward at the exact same speed. That would be horrific. But it is pushing backward with enough to let you know that it's pushing backward. And the lighter the gun, the faster it's coming backward, the more recoil impulse you're picking up in your hand. So it happens with a lot of people who are buying these really lightweight .380s that they want as everyday carry guns, and suddenly they take them to the range and they don't really enjoy shooting them, so they don't train with them. And if you don't train with the gun that you plan to fight with, you're not going to shoot that gun effectively when you really need to shoot it. So it is this balancing act of lightweight materials, this evolution of lightweight materials going from all steel guns to aluminum to polymer to special alloys to everything else that is out there. People trying to find that perfect balance of making the gun lightweight so you will carry it every day, but then also keeping it comfortable to shoot so you will train with it enough to be proficient. Because Truthfully, you're responsible for every round that goes downrange. And if you're not accurate with your defensive handgun because it is uncomfortable to shoot and therefore you don't shoot it often, you are opening yourself up to tons and tons of legal trouble if you launch a bullet and it ends up someplace where it was not supposed to go. If you hit someone you were not supposed to hit when you fired your gun in self-defense. As you're looking around for a lightweight gun, understand, again, there are pros and cons of how guns are put together. If you're going for an aluminum framed gun, if you want a lightweight but still want a metal gun, understand that there might be some issues with the way the finish is applied to that gun. It's going to be a little bit different than blued steel or something like that. Certainly way different than polymer. And the load bearing surfaces, the bearing surfaces where things move back and forth, those are almost always going to be steel or steel inserts because, quite frankly, steel holds up way better than all the rest of these materials that people have been using to create guns. They're trying to shave off a few ounces here and there, some cases fractions of an ounce here and there, just to make that gun lighter and easier for you to carry every day. Well, Clint Smith has said it best. Carrying a gun is not supposed to be comfortable, it's supposed to be comforting. So you have to make those trade-offs. If the gun is a little bit heavier than you would like, get a better holster, get a better belt, carry it in a different way so that it is more comfortable. It's never going to be perfectly comfortable, but you want to make it more comfortable for you to carry every day. But you also want it to be comfortable enough that you shoot regularly, that you train regularly with this firearm, because if you don't, when the time comes, you might just end up dead because you're not effective enough with your gun to stop the bad guy as quickly as it needs to happen. Yeah, as we talk about lighter weight guns, you're going to have to decide and make this trade-off. What do you want? A lightweight gun that's super easy to carry? Or, when you do that, if you make that choice, it's going to be less comfortable for you to shoot, and you're just going to have to suck it up when you're out on the training range and deal with that pain in your hand and go home and ice it down when you're done. Your choice, light gun, heavy gun, easy to carry, difficult to shoot, it's out there. And so this is all your choice. There are pros and cons, light gun, heavy gun, comfortable to shoot, comfortable to carry, you name it. What do you want in your concealed carry gun? Tell us down below in the comment. Want to know the 3 biggest mistakes when carrying a handgun? Then click on the video next to me to reveal all 3 mistakes. Mistake number 2 may shock you. Everybody has their own cardinal rules for what they're going to do when they're carrying a gun, but right now I'm going to give you 3 things that you must never do